Breaking shocking news, the Church of England's dirty secret. The Church of England once owned a sugar plantation on Barbados that profited it about £5 million a year in today's money. They purchased slaves from West Africa and subjected them to inhuman treatment, including having the word society branded on their chests with a hot iron to show that they were the property of the church. The further shocking news that has just emerged is that a previous Archbishop of Canterbury actually chaired the meetings approving the purchase of more slaves for the plantation. They were needed because so many had died as a result of their inhuman treatment. The church also enslaved children as workers too. The wealth the church enjoys today and its ownership of vast parts of the land and real estate of England and its prestige is because of this shameful blood money from the past.
First things first, I want to give a shout out to Okpeyemi for sending this video in. She wanted us to cover this video on the channel, and I think, yeah, she is right, because this is an information that needs to be out there. I mean, it's already out there, but it's an information that needs to be out there more, because unfortunately, not many of our people are aware of just how involved the church was in past events and how much sickness they okayed and sanctioned. Past events I'm talking about here are the colonization, slavery, and the multiple genocides that happened across the globe during the colonial era. And while some people might say, oh, that's in the past, let's move on. Okay, yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about the things that they are doing today. I mean, come on, we see the news, we see the stats of just how much they're touching young boys and girls inappropriately. We know about how they are still holding very tightly onto the wealth that they accrued immorally and all of the artifacts and, history that they stole from indigenous people that they have in their museums. And when I say indigenous people, I mean all indigenous people across the globe, indigenous people of Africa, indigenous people of the Americas, indigenous people of Australia, indigenous people of Asia. And we also know about how they try to bury a lot of the informations and all of the things, the sick things that they did and sanctioned in the past, and just how much they are failing at this, because nothing stays hidden under the sun. All things done in the dark will definitely come to light, regardless of just how much you try to hide it. The Church of England isn't the only church that did sick things during the colonial era. Add the Catholic Church to the list, because they were the ones who, first, I believe, sanctioned colonization and slavery, and that was done by Pope Alexander VI, who in 1493 issued a papal bull or a decree in which he authorized Spain and Portugal to go into the world and colonize and enslave people as they saw fit. And this decree, this papal decree, also justifies the enslavement of African people.
The Catholic Church and many of the popes were no better, abusing the innocent and forcing them into slavery.
The Catholic Church basically set the tone for everything that happened. They blew the whistle and everybody followed. So it's no wonder that when you look at the Vatican Museum, for example, you would find that in there they have a whole lot of stolen artifacts and stolen history that they are holding under lock and key and making money off of. The institution has a very long history of wickedness and immorality. The reason why I'm talking about the Catholic Church right now is because I don't think we can have this conversation without involving them. I believe that they are a very key part of the puzzle, and that this is a very necessary, a very vital context that should be brought into the conversation, because they played a very vital role in everything that happened. They play a very vital role in how it all started and how we globally got here as a species, and why the world looks the way it does today. If you follow the breadcrumbs, it all traces back to that one institution. But now I want us to get back to the Church of England, because I believe that there are also some very interesting and vital information about that church that needs to be incorporated into this video, so that we come full circle, and we really start to see and understand why the church operated like it did, and why the church ordered, sanctioned, and participated in a lot of the sick activities that they did participate in back then during colonization and slavery. And this fact for me is how heavily involved the British royal family is in the Church of England and the church's affairs. It is said that the British monarch, who is currently Charles III, is the supreme governor and the Archbishop of Canterbury, which is currently Justin Welby, and he is the most senior cleric. Eliza, his mom, while she was alive and the ruling monarch, played the role as defender of the faith and supreme governor of the Church of England, which was both an important element of her role as monarch and a deeply personal part of her life. She maintained and preserved inviolably the settlement of the Church of England and the doctrine, worship, discipline, and government thereof as by law established. Back to Charles III, I saw this query question that asked who is in charge of the Church of England, and the response to this is His Majesty the King. He is known as the Lord Spiritual. His Majesty the King is the supreme governor of the Church of England. The King appoints Archbishop, bishops, and dean of cathedrals on the advice of the Prime Minister. So from what we are seeing right now, it is clear, it is evident that the royal family are very much involved, and they have a good deal of control over what happens in the church, and they have had this power in the church for a very, very good while now. And I find this information to be very interesting, very telling, and I believe it's an information that needs to be highlighted, because when you put these facts into consideration, and also add the fact that the British monarchy, right, the crown, was very much involved and okayed a lot of the activities that happened in the past. I mean, come on, the British colonized like over 90% of our world. We have what, 195 countries, and only the British colonized over 100 of these countries.
This is a map displaying all the countries the British have invaded. They obviously have a long history of being one of the strongest nations on the planet, as can be seen through this map displaying that they have invaded 90% of the world. And there's only 22 countries that have never been invaded by Britain. And what's crazy to think about is if they never did this, there would be no America. English wouldn't be as popular of a language as it is. The whole world as we know it would obviously be a lot different.
So it comes to no surprise to me, and I don't think it should be of a surprise to anyone, that the Church of England did all the ish that they did, because check out who was in and who is in control of the church. The same group of people that were very much okay with colonization and slavery and participated in all of that ish. Of course, they used the church that they have power and control over to help facilitate all of the activities, the sick activities that they were part of sanctioning and participated in. They were using all of the resources that they had to their advantage. They were using all of the resources that they had and were in control of to help do all of the sick things that they were doing. And the Church of England was one of these resources, in quotes, if I can call it that, and they used it very well to their advantage to help achieve all of their aims and objectives. And the fact that Charles III now is an archbishop just because he took over that seat is very interesting and telling as well. And I really want to talk about it in this video, because it really does goes to show just how much power and control the crown has over that church. That someone like Charles, that I'm guessing, I stand corrected, did not go to any theological school, did not undergo any training so he can qualify to be an archbishop. Like the other archbishops that we know of globally, they went through training, tons of training, and a lot of pastoral activities, and you have to have experience for you to be able to get ordained as an archbishop and hold that title. But for Charles, his own is automatic because he's now the ruling monarch. It really is quite a very interesting and convenient loophole just available there in the church's doctrines and ways of operation, that the ruling monarch just automatically becomes an archbishop and governor of the church. It really is very interesting and convenient, isn't it? Because of course, I'm guessing he was ordained by God. By just filling that position of the ruling monarch, he gets to enjoy the benefits of archbishop and governor. Why am I suddenly losing my voice? Of the church. I don't know if you guys can let me know what you think about this in the comment section and how your brain interpreted this. I would really appreciate it. Let's have this conversation down below, right? From your perspective and what you think. But if I should share with you what I think and how my brain interpreted this information, for me, it's pretty simple. The conclusion that I came to, which is, one I've come to for a very good while now, is that this entire thing, it's man-made by these people, carefully orchestrated, loopholes just readily available there for them to take advantage of because they created this loophole and they get to say what goes and what stays and how each gets run because they were the ones who did it. None of this ish was ordained by God or anything. It was ordained by them. And they did this using the power that they got from the crown. And then they used this power and the authority that the crown affords them to make other people do what they want them to do, act the way they want them to act, believe what they want them to believe. These people have been controlling ish and people for a very long time. They have been doing this historically. I mean, it's no wonder that you find that the crown owns the copyright to the King James Version of the Bible. Do you know what it means to be the copyright owner of something? Especially something that is supposed to be the word of God. While it is said that it's, a book, the Bible, it's a book that no man should be able to alter. We know that isn't true, and these people have been altering it forever. Allegedly. Why? Because they have the copyright to it. They own it. They can do whatever they want to do with that book. Make whatever changes they want to make with the book. I'll be told the book, English will never kill me. And by the way, the royal family are not the only ones who own copyrights to Bible. There are other organizations, Christian medias, and publishing companies that holds rights to some of the other versions of the Bible that we have out there. And they have a say over how these, versions of theirs can be used, who can use it, and what happens to them. It's very interesting, isn't it, how the supposed word of God is being owned by man.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Anyways, I mean, the whole thing about Bibles and its copyright is not something that I really want to get down into in this video. But it's something I really want to mention very briefly, as I think it really goes to emphasize and highlight even more the level of control these people have over these things and how they have been using them to their advantage. When you read the Bible and you be coming by places like, oh, slaves, obey your earthly master as you would obey Christ, and you read in history that they use these scriptures to justify them enslaving African people. and use them to, tell enslaved African people that, yeah, this is the right thing that we are doing to you. And even the Lord said that you should obey us and love us like you would love him. It really does bring everything back around full circle and gives you a more clearer picture and concise understanding of what exactly happened, how it happened. Under the table, this is how they have been, navigating. I mean, on the surface, you don't see it, but, this is the underlying information that really needs to be out there that you need to know. And I really want to share these things. Whoa, it's definitely time for me to put a full stop on my narration because, yeah, I think I'm done. I think I've shared everything I wanted to share and give you guys an opportunity to help me dot any I's that I forgot to dot and cross, any T's that I did not cross in this video, and also share your, opinions, perspectives, and vital informations as well that you have that weren't shared in this video. So yeah, let's continue this conversation and educating in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, let's meet up in the comment section. And of course, as always, I would be seeing you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
People often trust religion, religious people, and the church. They shouldn't. It has little, if anything, to do with God or Jesus. It is a human system spawned, controlled, and dominated by men. It is responsible for atrocities throughout history, even up to our present day. Only trust that which you have researched, investigated, reviewed, assessed, experienced, and concluded is safe, honourable, has integrity, and has crossed the ultimate threshold of being able to pass the test of love's scrutiny.